you can't challenge this, because if, again, you
Like I
go,
just said.
you miss, your teammate makes a touch, and look, nobody's in position. This guy's not about to bang it off of the wall back to your
Again,
hat. I think a really big mistake that people around your rank, even into GC, honestly, is they make... Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel for another replay analysis here today. And today we're analyzing our boy Explosion RL, who is champ 2, and guess what? We're doing a freaking 3v3 analysis. I'm so happy because we always do 2v2 analysis. That's all you guys freaking play. But we got somebody to submit a 3v3 analysis. So let's get right into it. No more stalling. See how it goes. Champion 2 3v3. Slightly messed up your kickoff. That's all right though. See how it looks as the game goes along a little bit longer on the next kickoff. Dang, not much you could have done there. Kickoff could have been better. I think that whole situation stemmed from the kickoff. The only thing you could have done better in that play was literally to just have a better kickoff. So make sure you're focusing a bit more on the kickoff. Tell yourself when you're sitting there getting ready to go, all right, let's have a good kickoff. Let's have a good kickoff. Win the kickoff. Win the kickoff. Like you gotta be conscious on the kickoff. It's really easy to zone out because it's just something you've done so many times and you just don't focus on it. But you really need to be present and focusing on the kickoff when it's time to do the kickoff. Okay, and this is something I point out a lot. I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm about to say, but when you're cheating up on the kickoff, you want to go ahead and just cheat straight up the middle and not off to the side like you did. You want to stay up the middle. That way you have an equal chance and equal opportunity of responding to anything that happens. Wherever the ball goes, you're in the middle, so you're covering the same amount of ground and you can get to the ball first no matter what happens. But by cheating off in this direction over here where you are, if the ball goes forwards or it goes off to this right hand side anywhere, you're now putting more distance between you and the ball, and there's no way you're going to get to it before your opponent if you cheated off to the left like this. So the only situation in which cheating off to the left here is good is if the ball comes out to the left. But one, I don't think you're partied up with these players. Oh, you are? Okay, so you might have communicated that you were going to try to force it in that direction, in which case this is a better play, less of a mistake. However, I still wouldn't advise trying to do this kickoff where this player tries to force it to this boost and you cheat up to the boost and take the ball. Maybe you guys have a lot of success with it, but honestly, I don't see that kickoff work often at my rank in GC2, GC3. I rarely see this kickoff work, and usually you get punished for it. So I would advise just sticking with a standard kickoff. You can definitely have the person doing the kickoff try to force it to one of the corners. That's a lot safer and a lot more consistent, where the person doing the kickoff forces it behind them, or some people, I guess, like to force it to the opposite corner. I would definitely advise forcing it to the corner behind the person doing the kickoff, because that's just the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. Again, the most consistent way to do it. But since you are partied up, you probably did communicate that this is what you were going to go for. I just honestly, at higher ranks, don't see this approach on kickoff work often. As you see here, you called for it and it still didn't even work. Okay. Nice. Take this to the corner. I want to see you take this to the corner. If you hit this straight across like you did, you're giving your opponent here the opportunity to come challenge you and take possession of this ball and beat you on the challenge, most likely. But you have your entire back corner in this direction is completely free. And so I want you to use that space. take this ball all the way back to your back corner boost and make a play out of your corner. It's going to be a lot easier to beat the next attacker if you do so, right? So instead of hitting this ball this direction where you're allowing this guy to come and challenge and most likely take possession of the ball, if not just have a really good 50-50 on you, instead you let this ball roll, take a small little touch on the ball if you have to force it to this corner, follow behind it. And now this guy is probably coming from either this boost here to come and challenge you, in which case a fast flick, a fast pass out to midfield beats him most of the time. Or if he's rushing you really hard, you have the opportunity to fake here and let him blow past you. Or if he doesn't blow past you and he does hit the ball when you faked, well, guess what? You're up here in your corner. All that's going to happen, ball is going to roll back this way, and your teammates who are in the net can pass upfield to you anyways. So playing this ball all the way back to your corner is going to be your best bet. Gives you the most space to beat the next defender or attacker. You see how with that touch, you just ended up passing it to the opponent. Okay. You're last here, so you need to be careful. You don't really have any reason to go up for this ball. One, this man is already beating you to it. He's already up. And two, again, you're last. Both your teammates are upfield a little bit. And there's not really going to be any danger of this guy going up anyways. So you might as well wait and see what he does. One, he's already up before you. He's most likely beating you to this ball. So you might as well wait. Because anything he's going to do here isn't really going to be too hard to deal with. If you just come and park yourself at the back post, if he tries to shoot, okay, he can redirect it from here, but it's not going to have that much power on it. He can redirect it and miss, in which case it comes off the backboard and you collect it. Or he can try to pass back to this player, in which case you intercept it. But by diving here, taking yourself out of the play and getting beat to the ball, now if he shoots while nobody's back, it's a goal. Now if he passes while nobody's there to intercept it, it's a goal. So you're making something that isn't a threatening play by going up for this ball. So because the play isn't threatening, just wait. Because the play is not threatening and you can't beat him to the ball anyways, and you're last man, the best play here is going to be just to wait and see what he does and respond to it. And then by then, if you wait on the goal line, your teammates will be back to help you on defense as well. All right, here, I don't really like your positioning. You're pushing up too far for this, right? What are the options here? What can this guy do right here? He might bang this either at the net or at the backboard right now. And you're pushing up into essentially no man's land. You're pushing up right here when as soon as you get to this position, he will also be arriving at the ball and can bang it on target, can bang it at the backboard, and one of his teammates can possibly finish up. But honestly, this angle, this taking a power shot off of the sidewall like this, like he's perfectly lined up for it. It's not hard in his position to get this on target. So you're pushing up into a position where you cannot save a ball that he could shoot on target. So you need to be a little bit more aware of what your opponent could be about to do. If your opponent has the potential to take a shot and nobody else is covering the option of a shot, then you need to cover the shot, right? There's no point pushing up for a ball if you're going to get scored on. So if you see that a shot opportunity is about to come out and you're the one who has to cover it, then you need to cover it. And right now, you're not covering the shot. The thing that makes this a little messed up is your teammate rotates into the play. And that's why this is a little bit awkward. And it looks like you should challenge. But because your teammate's rotating into the play here for this boost, which is a no-no, play's coming this direction, he's rotating into the play, you can't challenge this. Because if, again, like I just said, he takes a shot here, nobody's in the net, it's a free goal. But if instead Travis would have rotated in behind you, then you could go up and challenge. But because he's rotating into the play, you have to recognize that, and you have to recognize nobody's covering the net. And so you need to just wait patiently. Okay. Here, I do not like you going all the way back to your corner for boost. I'm sure it's pretty obvious why, but your team just made a play on offense, and you can see nobody. If we go back one more time, you go, you miss, your teammate makes a touch, and look, nobody's in position. This guy's not about to bang it off of the wall back to your half. Your team is about to have an offensive possession for a little bit of time. So instead of taking yourself all the way out of the play to go for this corner boost, where now you're leaving your teammates with only 2 people on offense, you could instead grab a couple pads, maybe these pads, and stay midfield, or bam, 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 these pads, and then maybe cut back into midfield, or, you know, you got to watch the play, see what happens. Maybe the ball is going to force across the net, in which case you can grab this mid boost and challenge the ball. But by taking yourself all the way out of the play to your back corner, you are alleviating a lot of pressure on your opponents. So because your team is on offense and there's no rush for you to be back on defense or back on your half, I would like to see you stay more aggressively positioned to try to stay on offense. Hey, before we go any further, guys, quick shout out to myself. Make sure you follow me on Twitch. The link is down below in the description. Go ahead. I'll wait 5 seconds for you to click the link and hit follow. All right, and also make sure you follow me on TikTok. I post a lot of great content, a lot of shorts on there, a lot of short educational content. So follow me on TikTok as well. And if you want to get yourself a replay done like the one you're seeing right now, join the Discord, submit your replay analysis file or a YouTube video link to the replay analysis chat channel or the sub only replay analysis chat channel, where you get to skip the line, and I do all those before the other ones. The only catch is you have to be subscribed on Twitch or my Patreon in order to get access to that channel. All right, guys, let's get back into the replay analysis. Ooh. Missed the shot. Almost took away the open net from your teammate, but at least he was able to slot it. Alright, this looked a little awkward. What's happening here? Okay, the problem here is your rotation into the net. Notice you rotate into the middle of the net instead of to the back post. You rotate into the middle and then turn up to the near post instead of rotating to the back post and turning and facing out this direction. So now, because you made this rotation here, you're way too close to the play, and you're essentially covering the same option as your teammate here. If instead, like I said, you would have rotated to this back post. I didn't mean to pick blue, but I guess we're blue. You rotated to this back post, your teammate would either be able to rotate out around you and let you challenge the next ball, or he can challenge, stay backboard, position backboard, and you're covering a different option on the ground and in this vicinity here, while he's covering something more in this vicinity here. But because, again, you rotated straight into the middle of the net and then you turned out to the near post, you ended up way too close to the play, and you end up covering the same option as your teammate. And now there's a lot of confusion. make sure you're a bit more aware of the boost situation on the field, right? Right here, as you flick your ball cam off, you can see there's no boost. There's no big boost anywhere. There's no mid big boost, and there's no back corner big boost. And you've got also 2 players moving towards that back corner. So even if there was a back corner boost, it's probably going to get stolen anyways. So recognize that, and recognize that it's going to be very optimal, very beneficial for you to make sure you're pathing over pads, since there's not going to be any big boost for your pickup. So you're going to want to change your rotation to come infield a little bit more and pick up this path of pads as you come up to the net. Yeah, your pathing over pads is not too great here. I just pointed out in the last replay analysis I did, or maybe it was 2 replay analysis ago, that one huge mistake people will make is when they don't get the back corner boost, they're like, oh man, I didn't get this back corner boost. Well, let me go all the way over to the opposite corner, see if that one's there, right? And you're cutting across the entire length of the field, taking yourself out of the play even longer than you already did, just to go see if the other boost is there. Instead, what you're going to want to do is, if you can't get this back corner boost, you're going to want to still try to position where you need to be, pushing up field, grabbing pads. Because just because you have no boost is not an excuse to not pressure your opponents, not force touches from your opponents, not be a possible passing option for your teammates. Just because you have no boost doesn't mean you're useless. It only means you're useless if you make yourself useless, which by, if instead of going all the way across for the other boost, you start moving upfield, picking up pads. As soon as this ball gets past your teammate, you could still, at this point in time, possibly be turning and challenging this ball, and you might actually beat him. If you had turned, grabbed a couple pads, I think by the time that 50-50 happened, you would have been around here, maybe even closer. Let's go back. Try to time this out, how this could have played out, right? Bam. Don't get this boost. Instead, you go this direction, picking up pads. Bam. At this point in time, you're here with probably about 40 boost. It looks like he's still going to beat you, right? But at least you're in this position to where you can now turn and grab this boost and then shadow defend his play. Instead of, where are you? Now both you and your teammate arrived in the same area at the same time, and nobody's challenging the play. It's just, you wanna, even if you're on 0 boost, try to stay in the rotation and the positioning of your team. Try to be where you need to be, even if you're on 0 boost, because it just keeps the rotations clean, keeps the spacing clean. A lot of the time you'll be close enough to your opponent that, they might not know that you have 0 boost, and so they see that you're in a position that they, also would like to go to, but they can't because you're there. So they have to flick it, they have to play it past you, and they have to play it into your teammate's possession who's behind them, right? That's a lot of what 3v3 is, and 2v2, but really 3v3 a ton is baiting touches from your opponents to give a free ball to your teammates behind you. And so if you're not in position to bait that touch from your opponent to give Travis behind you a free ball, well, then now both of you have to wait and see what IO. Why do people have to have such hard to pronounce names? And now you're both kind of at IO's mercy right now. See, that was good. That was a better example. You're low boost, but you're still pushing forward into where you need to be in order to force this touch. If you don't push this guy here, he's going to take his time and he's going to make a much better play than the play he ended up making. But you recognize, hey, I'm 0 boost, but I could still push forward, force this guy's touch, and then grab a big boost that's up in midfield. So this, you did perfectly. In the other play, you weren't going to be able to play for a big boost but you were going to be able to play off of pads, still putting yourself in position to force a touch from your opponent. That's exactly what you did here. Same exact concept, and it worked out perfectly there. You forced out a touch that your opponent wouldn't have made otherwise, and gave your teammates a much better ball to deal with behind you. So right idea, right? You want to take this to your corner and open space, but you got a lot of time here. It's a really floaty ball. And I guess this starts from you being on the backboard, right? What reason is there for you to position on the backboard here? The ball is all the way across the map. There's no play that 𝘛𝘏𝘐𝘚's going to make where he's getting this ball to somewhere where you need to be on the backboard. So don't put yourself on the backboard here to begin with, because you don't need to be on the backboard. And then, whether or not you were on the backboard, if you weren't on the backboard at this point in time, this would be easier slightly, but it's still pretty easy because this is such a lofty ball. You have time to reposition your car and try to catch this to your corner so that your transition, so that your ball control is a little faster and you can start a play out of your corner quicker. All right, but you making this flip, well, you got demoed. You couldn't even do it. But if you were positioned there to catch the ball on the ground, right here at this point in time, you may have to use a little bit of drift, a little bit of power slide turning, which is always good to practice. You may have to use a little bit of reverse power slide, turn yourself into position. Right, if I'm you, I'd be going here, turning up this way, power sliding backwards, and now I'm facing where the ball is going to land. As the ball comes down, I can catch it, I can flip it, flick it into this direction, grab the boost, and make a play out of my corner, and look at how much space you would have. But because you had to do this, had no momentum going in that direction, get demoed, now you don't have possession of the ball. So your play there, just your play could have been a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, and you would have possession of this right now. Okay. After you make this challenge, I want to see you just rotate out. Stick to clean, solid rotations. It's not terrible that you went for the bump on this guy here. Yeah, I mean, I take that back. I take that back. It is bad that you went for the bump on this guy here. I do stick to what I was about to say. I want to see you rotate out. Jump off the wall, start rotating out this way. You'll have a teammate probably rotate in front of you to back up this guy. And whenever your other teammate is back to back up, what's his name? IRI. Then he can challenge, and you'll be also shortly after following up the rotation. But the point being is, if this guy had a play on the ball, you are not going to be able to catch up to him to bump him anyways. The only reason you were able to bump him is because he left the ball, at which case he's sort of given up his play on the ball anyways, and there's no reason to bump him. Now you're just sort of lingering around the ball instead of rotating out, and that means your teammate can't rotate in and challenge the ball because you're right there. He doesn't know what you're going to do on the ball. So you're causing a lot of confusion here by not rotating out. And again, if he had stayed on this ball, he could already be making a play going forward, and there's no world where you're catching up to him to bump him anyways. So yeah, the only reason this bump worked is because he turned off the ball, and at that point the bump was pretty worthless and only caused hesitation in your teammate. Again, I think a really big mistake that people around your rank, even into GC, honestly, is they make an unthreatening situation threatening just by the way they react to the play. And in this case, Io bangs this to the corner, but there's nobody there to follow up. There's nobody there to follow up this ball. The only person who can is Io himself. Yet again, if this ball bounces off the corner out to him, then he can try to shoot. So all you need to do is worry about beating him to this read here. All you have to do is worry about beating him after the bounce. You don't need to try and race to this ball to hit it off of the corner, because there's nobody over here that's making a play on the ball. So you're making a decision that doesn't need to be made, and the only thing you're doing is opening up the opportunity for you to miss the read, and then the play is threatening, just as what happened, right? I mean, this is one, you're not reaching this ball in time to hit it off the corner. You should have recognized that. And this looks like after it hits, because it's hitting so high on the wall, it's probably going to take a really sharp bounce downwards. So the read just wasn't great from you. Should have recognized that you weren't going to reach this ball off the corner. And so all you have to do is worry about the ball after it bounces. Don't make an unthreatening play more threatening than it is. And you did so because you went for the ball and you missed, and you took yourself out of the play for no reason, and you gave this guy a free shot. Good pass from your teammate. Good positioning from you to look for the outlet. The play on the ball obviously could have been a little bit better. Just jumped off the wall too high. Okay. What I'm going to say here is this was a really good, since you're a full team, I'm especially going to point this out, but notice your teammate's positioning. Travis rotating into your back right corner. Now he should be turning upfield, right? Based on the timing, he should be turning upfield right behind you in your back right corner, back right side. If you go up for this and actually take a nice soft touch downwards, get on this side of the ball like you sort of are projected to right now, and then drop it down in this direction. Your teammate behind you, bam, comes in, and that's a great pass. Just going to point that play out, the possible play. It's good to recognize your teammates' rotation and notice when they should be in position for a pass, even when you can't see them based on their rotation. Now, hopefully, your teammate is doing what I just said, and I can look really smart. Bam, there it is. Look at that. If you would have dropped this right back here, hopefully Iris wouldn't have bumped your teammate. But that would have been a great pass for him to go for. Bam, shoot, possibly a goal. That was a goal anyways. But my play was better, okay? My play was freaking better. I think you got to work on your kickoff. What was that? Yeah, that was a really bad kickoff. You know, this isn't a kickoff tutorial. I'm just going to tell you, watch a tutorial on diagonal flip kickoffs. Maybe start learning speed flip kickoffs. Yeah, that wasn't it. Your kickoffs have looked pretty shaky, both kickoffs now. All right, same thing here. Like I pointed out earlier, just because you're on 0 boost doesn't mean you're useless unless you make yourself useless. You're sitting here camping this boost instead of putting yourself up in position where you need to be. Not only do you already have 33 boosts because you just spawned, which is a pretty good amount, but you could pick up 2 or 3 pads while you position upfield where you need to be, right? Your teammates on offense, so you need to help them maintain their offensive pressure, Come up here, pick up these 2 pads. My bad, I didn't know that was so faded. But you come up here, pick up these 2 pads. Now you've got 55 boost, right? No. 45, 57, something like that. 57 boost in the midfield, maintaining offensive pressure for your team. That would have been perfect. But instead, you're making yourself more useless than you initially were by waiting back for a boost, not putting yourself upfield, and bam, you'd be on this ball right now, maintaining the pressure your team had. I like the idea to bang this back though. Just sort of mistouched it. It happens. You really got to focus in these situations. It happens even to me when I'm not really focused in the moment. Make sure don't hit this upwards. Don't hit this upwards. Don't hit this upwards. Make sure I bang it back. You know, that's something I'll tell myself when I'm in this same situation. Really got to focus on getting a forward touch rather than an upward touch. That's a really easy touch to mess up, so don't feel too bad about that one. But you really got to focus, make sure you don't mess it up. Yeah, I like that you were trying to bang it back because everyone was rushing upfield so fast, you would have caught them off guard, right? They're like, oh my god, we got a breakaway, wait. They're like, wait, this guy's way far back, which you shouldn't have been. But that's why it kind of catches them off guard here. So really hard bang back to their aft would have been really good because they're all super far upfield. Would have been a really good play, but this didn't work out. I'm going to OT. Oh. 𝘏𝘏𝘐𝘚. Yeah, you're getting crushed on kickoffs. All right. You need to get back quicker here. There's no play where your teammate's gonna get a pass out to you, right? He's air dribbling the ball, especially at Champ 2. It's unlikely he's gonna air dribble it all the way over these opponents to the midfield, in which case you're still not really useful. So yeah, you really don't have any play where you need to be lingering upfield here. So you need to get back faster, start flipping back towards your net, back towards that back corner boost while picking up pads in case that back corner boost gets stolen or you need to cover the net instantly rather than grab that back boost, right? You need to start rotating back to the corner. As you're rotating back to the corner, you can pick up this path of pads or you can pick up this path of pads to the corner, just in case either Travis grabs that back corner or Puff goes and seals that back corner, or your teammate gets blocked and the ball comes out in front of the net and you need to instantly turn into the net to cover a shot. You don't have time to go for that back boost. You'll at least have some boost. So just realize there's no reason here for you to linger upfield. You need to get back a little bit quicker. Yeah, pads. You're pathing over pads. Definitely a big point this game. Definitely a big point this game. I think you were trying to put that off the corner maybe to recenter it. Wouldn't have been a terrible play. That should be game. Nice. Nice. So yeah, overall, I think the 2 biggest things that I noticed were that when you have 0 boosts, you're making yourself way more useless than you need to be. Just because you're on 0 boosts again doesn't mean you're totally useless unless you just sit there and do nothing. Even on 0 boost, try to stay in the rotation that you need to be in, unless obviously you're last man and pushing up too far could mean that the ball gets banged over you and nobody's back to defend. It's a little situational, but every time that I pointed it out, There was no threat of an immediate shot on net, so it would have been best to stick with the rotation, position where you needed to be in order to force a touch from your opponents in order to possibly maintain offensive pressure. So make sure you're not making yourself completely useless just because you have 0 boost. You can most likely still be pushing up field, grabbing pads while you position where you need to be. And then 2 was, again, you're pathing over pads. And those kind of go hand in hand. You may not realize how much boost you can grab while you push up field because you're not used to grabbing pads. So make sure you're working on your rotation over pads while you're moving up the field, moving up and down the field. Just very quickly, I could show you some common paths. I'm sure you've seen it before and probably don't need me to show you, but in case you haven't seen it before. Okay, so you've got these pads here that you can grab while pushing upfield or rotating back. Either way, going this way, going that way. Same thing going this way. You've got these pads out this way. You've got the pads straight up the middle of the field, obviously. You have, let's see, a lot of the time you could probably, if you're rotating back and this mid boost isn't here, you could always come out this way and grab this pad and turn up field this way. There's a ton of different, ways you can rotate around grabbing pads. You've got this complete diamond of pads in the midfield that you can always run around and collect in order to stay in the midfield if you need to. But these are kind of the 3 main paths here. This outside path on both sides and up the middle of the field. Those are going to be really useful paths for you to take on your rotation back and your rotation forward in order to have boost and stay in the play. Squishy actually has a really good video on this. I think if you search like Squishy Muffins boost pads or something like that on YouTube, it'll probably come up. He's got a really good video explaining those rotations of pads. But yeah, those are your 2 biggest things, man. And kickoffs. You gotta work on your kickoffs. You got crushed every single time. Your kickoff looked pretty bad. But anyways, that's it, man. Let's take a look really quick at the question of the day for the video. In order to get some engagement, in order to give you guys something to engage with, I asked my Discord what was their favorite, or what were some of their most iconic childhood TV shows. I said my answers were either Ed, Edd n Eddy or The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. 2 great classics, man. A lot of funny, hilarious jokes in those that I still make to this day. Courage the Cowardly Dog Show says Satan, aka Julian. Okay, that's a weird name. But yes, I had responded saying I totally forgot about Courage the Cowardly Dog. That show was that's a classic. That is definitely iconic as hell. Film Magician said Simpsons, Full House, Undergrads, Looney Tunes. Based on the Simpsons and Full House answer, I assume this guy was probably about 30 years old. Makes a lot of sense. That's about the time frame that most people who watch The Simpsons and Full House are. I watched Full House on what was it, Nick at Night or ABC Family or something like that every night before bed when nothing else was on, because it was 12 o'clock at night or something like that. Full House was always on at that point in time. You could always count on Full House. Or when you first wake up in the morning, when you first woke up in the morning, it was early, crack of dawn. Again, nothing good is on yet. Full House was always on. We got another Ed, Edd n Eddy, heck yeah. Danny Phantom and Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's Laboratory was good, but if you watch Danny Phantom, you're a little weird. Just kidding, morbid. Revan said again, Ed, Edd n Eddy. Ed, Edd n Eddy was a classic, and it doesn't run on TV anymore, man. Everyone loved that show. I wonder why it doesn't exist anymore. Jimmy Neutron, again, if you watch Jimmy Neutron, you're a little weird. I watched a little bit of Jimmy Neutron, but not much. Danny Phantom, is that the one I just said last time that you're weird if you watch that? Yeah, okay, so Revan's really weird. Jimmy Neutron and Danny Phantom. Phineas and Ferb, that was okay, also a little weird. SpongeBob's another classic. Yeah, SpongeBob's really good. And yeah, Revan pretty much chose every single TV show under the sun. It's not really the point of the question of the day, or that doesn't really signal which ones are iconic. It's got to be a top 3, dude. Come on. And let's see, last one. Rubies said Simpsons and Looney Tunes. made me the man I am today. Looney Tunes, yeah, man, that was, yeah, Looney Tunes was good for sure, for sure. That was like slightly before my time, to where I only watched it for maybe like a year or two before it kind of sort of faded out of existence. But yeah, Looney Tunes was good, man. Looney Tunes was good. All right, that's the question of the day, guys. Make sure you join the Discord so that you can be featured on the next video with your answers to the next question of the day. I really enjoy doing these and seeing your guys' answer. It's a great conversation starter, great conversation piece. Anyways, guys, that's it. If you learned something, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel for more educational Rocket League content that's going to make you a better player so you can hit Supersonic Legend this year. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.